look, y'all, there's a big old goalpost sitting right there, Team Taco, you fake-ass patriots, that y'all got to pick up and move, like, real fast, y'all. It's the big one, the Epstein one. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. I knew y'all was going to have to move that sucker sooner or later. Turns out it's sooner. It is sooner, y'all. You're going to have to move that thing. Now, I understand the situation that you got yourself in is you really need to wait on the Fox Faking Newses to tell you how you're supposed to spin this thing, you know, or some dude on Twitter, you know, or the Telegrams, or the Rumbles, or the Marco Polos. Any of those things, you need to find somebody to tell you what to think about this and how to spin this thing. That way you know where to move that goalpost to, you know. But look, I already know where it's going to go at. I'm just going to tell you, y'all already got the hole dug for it. Y'all use it over and over again. It's the innocent till proven guilty hole, y'all. That's where you're going to pick that goalpost up, move it to, and stick it in the innocent till proven guilty hole. You know where that's at. But anyway, y'all got some explaining up to do here. If you're still going to be on the Trump train and be supporting on a pedophile like that, I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, these emails are, you know, they're pretty damning, you know. But we tried to tell you, be careful what you wish for when you was asking for all the Epstein file stuff. And this right here is just a sliver of the information. That's all it is. Just a couple of emails, man, that implicate him. Implicate. It means that he was involved, is what I'm saying. It shows his involvement there on diddling on little kids with the Jeffrey Epsteins and the Ghislaine Maxwells, you know. Look, this email here between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, 2011, that was before anybody even knew that big orange bloated syphilis up Adderall riddled idiot was even going to be running for the president, you know. And this was a private correspondence conversation. It was a private conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And that conversation went something like this. Jeffrey Epstein says, man, well, that Donald F. and Trump was at my house alone for hours with one of my victims, and that's the only dog that hasn't barked. Well, you know what was going on during that time? He was under investigation for diddling on little kids. That Jeffrey Epstein was, you know. And he said, that's the only dog that hasn't barked. The Trump, and he mentions him by name, was at my house alone with one of my victims there. And what do you think he was doing there with that victim there, Team Taco, you fake-ass patriots? What do you think he was playing tiddlywinks? He was playing tiddlywinks with one of them underage girls there, wasn't he? Playing some Unos, some shoots and ladders, huh? Is that what he was doing there? Alone at Jeffrey Epstein's house for hours with one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims? Is that what he was doing? Okay. Anyway, so he said, yeah, that he was alone there, and that's the only dog that hadn't barked, which means Trump hasn't been talking or spilling the beans on him, is what Epstein is saying in that email, which means that Trump knows exactly what Epstein was doing. Well, of course he knows, because he was over at his house alone with one of them for hours. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell responds with, I've been thinking about the same thing too. Man, in 2011, she was thinking about the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein was thinking about. It was that Donald Trump hadn't rolled on them to the FBI's or anybody else, that he has kept his mouth shut so far about what he was doing because he was over at Jeffrey Epstein's house for hours with one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Man, go figure. Like nobody knew that. But see, here's another problem too, is in 2019, there was correspondence there between an exchange of information. There was an exchange of information there between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff where, Jeffrey Epstein was trying to figure out how he could actually use this situation to benefit himself. He was talking to Michael Wolff, and Michael Wolff was talking to him about what he could actually do there if Donald F. and Trump was to win the election again. What could he do? What could he do? How could he leverage that? And he could leverage it because Donald F. and Trump would know that Jeffrey Epstein knew everything. That way Epstein could say, hey man, I won't talk. You do me a favor. And you could go out there and spin this as, hey, I was actually a victim of this. This right here was just a big old witch hunt. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was wanting Donald F. and Trump to do. So look, in 2019 there, Team Taco, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't thinking about ending his life in a jail cell. He was thinking about how he could use Donald F. and Trump's presidency to get out of that jail cell. So he wasn't suicidal, okay? He wasn't suicidal. Those emails show that. He was actually wanting to leverage that situation of Donald. He was hoping Donald F. and Trump would get reelected. That's what he was hoping for. He never had the opportunity to see it happen, though, did he? So anyway, loose lips sink ships, right? And dead man tell no tales. That's the saying right there. But see, this Sean Luke Burnell there, but was also tied up in the Jeffrey Epstein stuff because it was found that he was actually helping supply some of these girls to Epstein and apparently Donald F. and Trump. Well, he was also found deceased in his jail cell in Paris in 2022, February of 2022 to be exact. Exact same way, apparently hung himself with the bed sheet. The cameras stopped working and the guards were sleeping and all that stuff right there. So anyway, Team Taco, I'm just wondering, how do you want to spin this exactly? I think you're going to go with the innocent till proven guilty hold as you're going to stick that goalpost in. That's what I think you're going to do with it, because one thing you can't do is stop protecting up on a pedophile. Now, you asked for these files. This is just a sliver of it. Look, we knew it was going to go down like this, y'all. We knew it was going to go down. It couldn't go any other way because we all knew. We didn't have blinders on because we all knew they were bested up for years and years and years. And this is just one instance of where Donald F. and Trump was involved. Just one. We have, actual court filings from plaintiffs that said he physically raped her. Okay, so that's a thing too. But somehow that girl... She removed her case right after Donald F. and Trump was elected in 2016 because she was receiving, and her family, death threats. Okay, so anyway, Team Taco, how you going to spin this? Like I said, I think you're just going to move that goalpost into the innocent till proven guilty hole because you're in an effing cult. And as long as you're in that cult now, you know for sure that you're protecting up on a pedophile. All right, so you never cared about the kids at all, did you? Ever. GOP, guardians of pedophiles. Inmate Trump.